Brought to you by Hug House Productions.
Hi, hello, listener of Never Morphed. If you like this show, I am convinced you are going to love The Newest Olympian by Mike Schubert. Why am I so certain? Because that's one of the shows that inspired this show. Real ones who listen to the credits already know. Each week, Mike dives into the Percy Jackson series, which I love, joined by guests who are longtime fans of the Rick Riordan series. If you haven't read these books yet, this is the perfect way to get started and read along with Mike. They're so good. And like Animorphs, they're kids' books that touch on way more serious topics than you might expect. And they're about worldwide mythologies, starting with Greek and Roman. I know you gays love mythology. If you have already read the books and know how good they are, you'll love this series too. The dramatic irony, man. And if you know about the books from the Disney Plus series, Mike has done interviews and conversations with some of the cast of the show on The Newest Olympian too. Mike is a great host, a great editor, and obviously a huge inspiration for me. You can find The Newest Olympian in the show notes or wherever you get your podcasts. Go subscribe right now and enjoy.
Brought to you by Hug House Productions.
Welcome back to Never Morphed, a podcast in which I read all the Animorphs books for the first time. As always, this is a podcast about books for kids, but it's not for kids. And we are closing out our conversation on book 8, which is great because, my God, this one really fucking pissed me off. I'm so sorry if you really flagrantly disagree with me here. You're very entitled to that. I get fired up about a lot of things. But I hope that you enjoyed this conversation nonetheless. And I also wanted to give a book recommendation. In the time since I started recording this episode, I've read a book that is wild and deeply fucked up, and I think might resonate well with Animorphs fans. It's called Bent Heavens, and it's by Daniel Kraus, and I give it a recommendation with a heavy asterisk. It's so fucking gory and really upsetting and disturbing and really fucked up. This is, of course, all why I really liked it. It's about a girl in her final year of high school. This is marketed as a young adult fiction, and I absolutely cannot fucking imagine that. It's so fucked up. But her dad, the year prior to when the book starts, goes missing after having a very public breakdown in which he is ranting about being abducted by aliens. And each weekend, she and her childhood friend go and still set up the traps that the dad set in the woods by where they live, trying to catch one of these aliens that he says abducted him. And then things get worse, and then they get worse. It's got a lot of twists and turns, and almost all of them really landed for me. There's literally one scene, I think, in the book that didn't land for me, which is really impressive. Again, it's Bent Heavens, Daniel Kraus. It is so fucked up. It is so gory. It is thematically brilliant, and it really goes places that I did not think it was going to go in regards to those themes. I had a great time. If you really fucked up gory graphic shit, you might also have a good time. Check it out. And with that, let's conclude this conversation on book 8 with dear friend Fresco. As always, check the show notes for the links to all of their works. So chapter 17, they all meet up at Cassie's barn. And Axe feels guilty to be in a human morph. I found this extremely sad.
Yeah.
And Axe did not call this meeting. Jake did. And so Axe feels positive that Tobias has told them all what just happened, and now he's going to be reprimanded for it, and that Tobias told all of his secrets. So there is a big confrontation, and they know that Axe is keeping secrets, but Tobias didn't tell them anything. He kept all the secrets like he promised he would. But they also know that Tobias has promised to keep secrets for Axe, and they're not wild about that either.
No problem.
Rachel and Marco are both especially pissed about this. Of course they are. And I think that they're well within their rights. They place the blame here. They think that Axe is keeping the secrets because he wants control and power over humans, because he thinks so little of the human race as a species that he wants to control them. Which we learned is like not quite what's going on here, but I totally can see where they're coming from. And I also think that they both have power and control issues. And Axe continues not answering their questions and not giving them information.
He's freaking out again about, there's a line of, my human body was awash in adrenaline. I was frustrated and afraid and guilty.
Yes.
And he's yelling, I can't answer your questions. I can't.
He's like fully having a breakdown about it.
Mm-hmm.
And this chapter is so sad. And Jake basically says, like, if you're gonna do this, we can't work together. Yeah. You are going to be on your own. And Axe says that they've all been wonderful to him and that he is so grateful. And he leaves.
And he's getting choked up again.
And he says that they wouldn't be working together for much longer anyway.
Yeah.
Because in his mind, tomorrow he has to go try to kill Visser 3, and there's no way he is going to survive.
Yeah. There's a line that I'm trying to find where it says, it just makes me hate Lirim extra.
Yeah.
I was not foolish enough to believe that I could take on Visser 3 and survive. Maybe if I planned well and was lucky, I might get him, but I would never live to brag about it. Probably it was just as well I had no future.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my god, because he's broken the law, and in the eyes of the other Andalites, he's broken the law twice over.
Uh-huh.
He will never be a warrior. He'll never like have his real prince status. Like, he's fucked. His future is fucked. It's so fucked up.
And so at least if I destroyed Visser 3, people would say he was a fool, but in the end he died well. Somehow that was not a great comfort. It's just, this is a baby.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
This book's really sad.
Uh-huh. And meanwhile, Cassie is feeding an injured baby goose with an eyedropper.
Oh my god, that's right.
While all this is happening.
I love her. That's adorable.
Uh-huh. Just, so there's so much.
Yes.
I have a section highlighted that I'm trying to remember why I highlighted it. It's where Marco and Rachel are saying that you think we're inferior, or don't you? And he's saying that's not it. It just really feels like he's bewildered that they would think this, even though that's exactly how he's treating them. Because in his mind, he's just following the rules, and this is how he's supposed to treat people. And
the rules say that they are an inferior species.
Right. But he seems to not think that, which is what makes me wonder how much the cognitive dissonance, how much of it there is, at least at Axe's age in like Andalite school, because it seems like he's being taught to treat other species as inferior, but he's not supposed to think that that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he just seems caught off guard every time they have these very reasonable reactions to the way he's treating them.
Yeah. I really hope that we get to see Axe sort of deconstruct some of these beliefs and philosophies and think, maybe these rules are a little bit bullshit. And we get a little bit of that, but I am excited for us to hopefully see more of that. What I really want for Axe is to one day think of himself as his own prince.
Ooh.
Or to think of like freedom as what he should consider, like something like a prince, like that should be what he's focused on.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I think it would be a very satisfying narrative arc for him, but we'll see. So chapter 18, today's the day. Axe does a different ritual focused on like self-sacrifice. He ends the ritual by putting his tail blade up to his own throat, which is the symbol of self-sacrifice. And Tobias notices this. He's watching again and he's like, hey, so that ritual was different. You didn't put your foot in the water and things are different. What's up with that? And Axe is like, don't worry about it, my man.
I love this scene, and I
Yes.
kind of love the mood whiplash into this scene, because the quote at the beginning of the chapter is, "You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need." A famous human named Rolling Stones said that.
Yes, very good. Also not something that would ever go in a quote book. Bullshit!
Also, this scene, this is my favorite part of not the book, but just of the little running thread in this book about the rituals.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at it from a standpoint of maybe they were trying to get children to question the Pledge of Allegiance, because there's a point, like, there's a point earlier when we first see him do the regular ritual. He says in the narration that, like, if you're gonna be an Andalite warrior, you have to do it, and you get in trouble if you get caught rushing through it. And then he does it again later in another scene where it says something about, like, I was especially impatient to get through it today. And then this time, it's a different ritual, but he's questioning every step of it.
Yeah. And he's even saying, like, this is bullshit. This isn't true. I'm lying. Like, it's not real.
There's a line that just says the ritual was a lie.
Yes.
And
yeah. Just like your whole fucking culture, buddy.
Yeah. And this wasn't honor. It was running into the hands of death. Just a lot of stuff that could potentially, given the timing of these books, kind of instill this idea of kind of questioning the US military and the propaganda, which I think is just especially, I can't think of the word, like, meaningful isn't quite the word, but it's especially something, considering, like, a lot of the kids who read these books then grew up or into teenagehood and would have, like, army recruiters come to their high school. And like, just, I don't know how much of this I caught when I was a kid. Probably none of it, but I think probably some of it unconsciously sunk in. And reading it now, I'm like, oh, holy shit, he's just basically saying that the Pledge of Allegiance is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And it fucking is.
Yes. And just the line, "My life is not my own when the people have need of it."
Yeah.
Is a horrifying thing that they've been instilling into their warrior cadets.
Yes. Yes. And then I really love this conversation between Tobias and Axe, because Axe tells Tobias about their weird hierarchy thing in Andalite culture. And this is when Tobias is like, hold up. So if Jake just, like, ordered you to tell us everything, would you? And Axe is like, well, I'm not very good at following orders. I'm not good at anything, because he's, like, really in his feelings right now. And I get that. But, like, Tobias is, like, taking notes. And he's trying to kind of use the, like, Andalite culture logic to talk Axe out of this. He knows this is such a bad idea. He knows that, like, they should be asking for help, and this could maybe even be, like, a kind of good idea if they were all together. And when Axe doesn't, like, acquiesce, Tobias is just kind of like, all right, well, good luck.
Yeah. There's also a line where Axe says he realizes that Jake doesn't think of himself as his prince, which I thought was interesting.
Yes, it's taken you a little while, buddy.
Yeah.
At this point, after the Tobias and Axe conversation, my note says, God, I hope he's lying, Axe style. Yes, the fuck he was. Thank God.
Is this also the scene where Tobias says it's cold-blooded to assassinate Visser 3?
Yes. And I should have taken this as a red flag for how this was gonna go. I think that's insane. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
Tobias's point is, like, it's one thing to kill somebody if you're already in battle, and it's another to just go assassinate somebody. And I don't agree.
Yeah.
I just don't really think of that as, like, a tangible difference. I don't have lived experience here as somebody who hasn't murdered anybody.
I've never assassinated anyone.
Yeah,
so
I've never done an assassination. But it just like it does not. So this is maybe a crazy parallel. But I was listening to something on prison abolition recently, which is something that I believe very deeply in. And I had never really heard, like, and granted, I've heard many good arguments for abolition consistently.
Right.
But people, anytime you bring up prison abolition, people are always like, well, what about violent crime? Like, what are you going to do about violent criminals? Like, you know, like killers and rapists. And I have had some compelling arguments for why abolition is still important. But I haven't had any that are so succinct and like really have stuck with me. But the speaker, I'll have to look this up and cite it because it really, the person's response was, how is poverty not a violent crime?
Oof.
How are state crimes that endanger people's lives every day and put people at risk of dying every day, how is that not a violent crime?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's so fucking true.
Yeah, this is a tangent, and I'm sorry, but I have seen people talking about, like, I'm an Etsy seller, and there's a lot of racism in the Etsy seller community regarding scammers, specifically from like India and China.
Yes.
And people will try to be like, well, statistically, there's more scams there. And I'm like, no, the fuck, there's not. There's more scams that are reported in a way that you recognize as scams. My landlord is scamming me. Like,
Correct. God, that's so real. Correct. Maybe it's just your definition of a scam is fucking racist, stupid.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have no concept of what I was talking about before this.
I'm so sorry.
We're right, though. We're right.
We're right. I don't know what we're saying, but we're right. I do have a comment about Tobias that is occurring to me.
It's about the killing in cold blood. I'm like, what is the fucking difference? Be real. It's all war. It's all evil murder. Murder is never good. Like, come on.
I wonder, now that I'm looking at the page again, if Tobias is just kind of saying stuff to try to get any reaction and any information out of Axe. Because as soon as Axe pushes back on that and is like, he killed my brother, Tobias says, I wasn't criticizing. So I really wonder if he doesn't even think that necessarily, if he's just trying to get...
Dude, Tobias is the one who, when Jake had the yerk in his head, and the yerk was like, you will not kill your friend if it comes down to it. You will not kill your friend. Tobias was the one who was like, yes, the fuck we will. Yes, I wouldn't even hesitate. Yes, we will. It's what Jake would want. And also, yes, we will. I don't think Tobias believes this for a second.
Yeah, I think what he's done is successfully get Axe to express for the first time how he actually feels about this, because he's not saying this is what I'm supposed to do. He's saying he killed my brother. He has humans infested by the handful. He will destroy you all if he can. He will enslave your entire race. So like these are Axe's actual reasons for wanting to kill Visser 3.
And earlier, all good reasons, and he's right, and he should do it.
Earlier I said that we don't really get any sense that this is what Axe wants to do, and I'm correcting myself now. He just wants to do it for different reasons, or more reasons.
Or better reasons.
Yeah, it's not I have to do this for my honor, it's he killed my brother.
Yeah, straight up, and he's right, and he should. So earlier in the book, I kind of glossed over, I forgot to mention this. Axe got a rattlesnake morph. This is important. I love rattlesnakes. Just add this to the list of like scary, creepy little creatures who I just love. They are a big deal in Arizona. Our baseball team is named after the kind of rattlesnake. I think that they're really cute and really funny. I love that they have a musical instrument attached to their bodies. I love a rattlesnake.
I was so glad that Axe didn't kill it.
God, me too.
He did like fling it away, but
it's fine.
It's probably fine.
So Axe goes alone to the location that Eslin gave him. The location was correct. He sees Andalite hoofs, and he gets into rattlesnake morph because rattlesnakes are really fast. They're way too fast for an Andalite to like easily fight against.
Mm-hmm.
And he waits.
He waits to die.
He waits to die. He waits. He Toy Story 3 waits to die. And then we get to chapter 19. And my first note here, most of my notes here, my first note here is that meme of the guy who has his hands, his fists like on his hips, and he just looks so pissed and so disappointed. That's me.
Yeah. Before we get into the crimes that are going to happen,
mm-hmm.
I think chapter 18 is the time where he's running through the forest, and it says, "I ran through dried leaves." Yes, that's right. Yeah. Go for it. Okay. I ran and ran till my chest ached from breathing the heavy air of earth. I ran through dried leaves and rustling pine needles. I jumped fallen rotting logs and skirted patches of brambles. I ran past trees that did not speak like the trees of my own world. To which I noted, in all caps, huh? Because, like I said, I've forgotten a lot of this series. So I'm both like, oh my god, my boy, my poor boy, and also, what?
Yeah, also, hey, say more. This passage is beautiful. And one of the things that this book does really well that I think also illuminates the shitty writing like even more, because there's, again, some parts of this are just so beautiful. Mm-hmm. There is this like circular structure and this like parallelism where we have an event like the ritual. We have it in one context, then we come back to it in a different context. We have the running through the woods, and then we have it in a new context. And it was really satisfying, really well done. And again, super lyrical, really beautifully written on like a sentence structure level. It felt very elevated. I was really impressed by this passage. And also it's really fucking sad.
Yeah. That's a really good way to describe all of that.
Thank you. And then this fucking chapter happens to me.
Chapter 19 happens.
Okay. So Visser 3 comes down. He's got a bunch of guards, but the guards are not going to like exactly where he's going. They're staying away so that they can't see him feed. And he's giving them directions. And then he is right by Axe, and Axe is in rattlesnake form. And Axe fucking does it.
He also accidentally rattles.
Oh my god, that's right. He gives up his location, and honestly, like, he maybe wouldn't have gone through with it if his rattlesnake body didn't start rattling when Visser 3 got too close. But that is what a rattler body does. Yeah. And so he's rattling, and Visser 3 is like, "Hey, what the fuck?" And Axe similarly is like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
What's that sound? Oh shit, it's me.
Oh fuck. Oh, it's me. Oh no. My body, my body. And so he strikes, and he bites Visser 3, and he gets the venom into him. And he bites him like 3 fucking times.
Yeah.
Like, he gets in there. Oh, I was really like, Visser 3 is gonna fucking die. This shit is so sick. I was so excited. I was like, it will be sad to do away with this hilarious motherfucker. But if this is it, this is so fucking cool. I'm so ready. Like a fool. Not meaning to quote Visser 3. That was actually unintentional, and I that's very silly. That was unintentional.
You're right, though.
I'm right, though.
We'll get to it.
Yes. So his plan is to bite him a bunch as a rattlesnake, escape because he's so fast, demorph, and then attack in his Andalite form, hoping that the venom will slow down Visser 3. Not a perfect plan, but it'll do.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, can he not replenish the venom fast enough to just keep biting him to death?
I know, really, like, just keep at it, baby. You don't need to ever seem like you're just keep biting.
I wonder if it's like more meaningful or part of the ritual or something that he's got to do it in an Andalite body.
Maybe. Maybe.
We don't really get a reason.
Yeah, I guess the other reason could be that he had to wait for like an hour.
True. He might be out of time.
So yeah, he might be running out of time. So he runs to demorph, and as he does, and he's halfway through demorphing, there's a Hork-Bajir there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, okay. I guess I die now. Which is so awful. And then instead, in comes fucking Grizzly Bear Rachel. My boy Tobias did lie. He did tell the others. He called for reinforcements. He was not about to let Axe die alone here. There's no fucking way.
He did such a good job.
He did such a good job. I'm so proud of my baby boy in this moment. In this whole book, he has really been the superstar. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're approaching, Tobias sees that the Yeerk, Visser 3, bails from the host body and slips into the water.
Yeah.
And
Tobias feels about this how we feel about this.
Yes. Tobias is pretty much saying like, fuck, shit. He is pissed. And so then they go over to like what they think is the dying Andalite host body. This is Alaran Senator Kuras. Alaran, also a very good name.
Mm-hmm.
And he immediately is begging them to kill him.
Yeah.
Begging. He's like, I don't want to go back in there. If you let me live, he will get back into me. The venom alone is not going to kill me. They are going to keep me alive on their ship, and he is going to go back into me, and that is bad. And me knowing that Visser 3 having an Andalite body is one of the reasons he's been able to take control this fast and this hard. Mm-hmm. Like, so I was like, okay, well, obviously fucking kill him.
Yeah. I've also, there's a line that Alaran says when he's begging them to kill him. He says, the things I've seen you don't understand, which I highlighted and wrote in alt caps. He ate Elfangor.
Literally. This man, I cannot imagine a more nightmarish, horrific existence than what this man has been through and what he will continue going through if they don't fucking kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And Axe is like, sorry, no, can't do that. And I lost it. I was so excited. I was like, this is a win for literally everybody. Like, I'm sorry, but in this man's position, would it not be way the fuck better? Would it not be way the fuck better to be dead? Like, death is the good choice here. It would be better for all of Earth. It would be better for the Yeerks. It would be better for everybody. Axe would have done his, I guess, responsibility. They kill people all the time. Like,
yeah.
I could not fucking believe. I could not fucking believe that they didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And I know that this is a kid's book, and I know that they are children, and I also know that they probably couldn't kill off their first big bad this early.
I wish they'd come up with a better reason.
Just something better than this. This was so sloppy. This was such bullshit. Like, I don't typically think about like character plausibility to a certain degree. Like, I understand that conflict needs to happen for like a story to happen, and people do stupid things and people are scared, et cetera, et cetera. This, I can't handle this one. This was bullshit. I'm pissed. Can
I give you my read on one aspect of it that might help a little, but it's still it's still not good. When he's begging them to kill him, Axe says, but you're an Andalite. I can't kill you. I said desperately, I can't. And I highlighted the line, you're an Andalite, because I am wondering if Andalites are taught to think of Yeerk hosts as like that person is already dead, in the same way that like good zombie fiction examines this and bad zombie fiction doesn't, where
Yes.
it's kind of, oh, this person, this human being who's still walking around and talking and thinking, no, they're already dead and it's okay for you to hate them and kill them.
Right.
I'm wondering if Andalites are taught, like, if this person has a yerk in their head, they're already dead and you should kill them. And he's now like frozen now that that's not the case, because now suddenly Alaran is a person again by those standards. Which, like,
I mean, maybe, but it doesn't change my feelings at all.
No, I didn't think so. And I wish that they'd like gone into that.
Yes. No, it just seems like bullshit to me.
Personally, my thing is like, why did he not morph into something and go with them?
Yeah, or like, why don't they just take him?
Yeah.
Why don't they rescue him? Like, what the fuck? Why? Yeah. And then Jake is like, okay, we should probably bail. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's very much.
You should what?
It very much feels like a deadline imposed. Like, we don't have time to come up with a good reason for this, but we can't kill our big bad this early, and we can't let the children have an adult on their side.
Yeah. I'm mad.
Yeah.
So mad. I'm so mad. This could have been it. This book could have been my number one. It was close. It was getting there. Mm-hmm. And then this, no, dead last. This is my dead last book.
Understandable.
I'm so pissed.
I was listening to your live read like, oh shit, this is going to be interesting. Because like, I fully agree with you. And when I say that this is one of my favorite Animorphs books, I'm very aware that it's because I have this nostalgia for it.
Yes.
Of like,
and because the first 90% of the book is really good.
Yeah.
Like the suspension of disbelief moments, there were a lot of them in this book, but I totally would have overlooked those had they just fucking killed this guy.
Yeah.
And no.
Or even just have a Hork-Bajir come running in and like, oh shit, we have to go. We don't have time to kill it. Just anything.
Right.
Like, I think it could potentially be an important character moment for Axe to make the choice not to kill him, but they don't really go into why Axe can't do it. And also all of the others are there, so then there's no reason for them not to do it. Like,
I think that the move here would have just been make it so that Visser 3 doesn't quite get to the water yet, or Tobias can see him just fine. And they focus all their efforts on trying to get Visser 3 the Yerk. And in that amount of time, the Hork-Bajir come and get the host body.
Yeah.
And then they have nothing to, like, there's so many other ways. There's so many other ways. I'm so pissed.
Yeah, this is like one of the worst examples of just status quo is God, which I think is really funny that it's in... Like, bad funny that it's in the same book where just we background find out, like, no, Marco's life is changing.
Yes.
For the better. Things can change. Not this, though.
Not this, though. Yes. Okay. We have to move on because I could literally scream about this forever.
Okay. If I stepped on anything that you were trying to say, I do want to make sure you have a chance to say it.
No, anything I wanted to say was just yelling incoherently. That's all I got.
Understandable.
So chapter 20, Axe tells him everything. This feels earned. I feel like at this point, he is so fucking over it. Everything has gone to shit so far and so fast that he's like, whatever, fuck it. So he tells them all about Ciro's kindness and that the law is don't give other species Andalite tech. And the reason why it's called that is because Prince Ciro gave tech to the Yerks to allow them intergalactic travel. And because of that, that's what enabled the Yerks to take these planets over and cause this much harm. To which I say, like, that's literally not on Prince Ciro.
Yeah.
What? That's nothing. What?
I think when people do bad things, it's actually that person's fault.
Right. Absolutely absurd. Andalite culture sucks so bad. I actually think that this does track in Andalite culture, that they would put blame like this. So I'm not saying that this is an example of poor writing. I'm saying that this is an example of Andalite culture fucking sucking.
Yeah, and we get kind of the next stage of like, I said earlier that it seems very Andalite that they name their laws in a way that's meant to shame people. Here, Axe is talking about how if humans become the new Yerks, someday my people will talk about Aximili's kindness.
Yeah.
They instill this fear into their like young people of, if you fuck up, everyone's gonna know about it forever.
Yeah. Awful. Awful. And Axe is like expecting that they're all going to be horrified and disgusted and never want to talk to him again because of this.
Yeah.
And Rachel and Marco are the ones who are like, pretty fucking sick, dude. You broke the law. That's awesome. I love them both.
Me too. I feel like they were braced for something so much worse.
Yeah. Instead, they're like, sick. You little rebel. That's so cool. I love this. I love this moment. And he's just like, what? He like does not know what to do with this.
Yeah.
It's so good. And the Animorphs are all like, yeah, so this is fine. This is fine with us. This is fine. And we're all friends, so probably you should tell us things.
Yeah.
And he does. Then he calls Tobias his shorm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sweet. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just, I'm so happy, sad about them.
Yes.
Also, there's a part of this scene that very much reads to me. I don't know if this is, I can't read the writer's minds, but it very much reads to me like trying to get children who are being inundated with American propaganda to think about the fact that people from other cultures are also people, where it's Tobias says, Axeman, tell me, what does an Andalite want most? What is it you guys are fighting for? For freedom, of course, I said. And what do humans want most? Tobias asked. Freedom, Prince Jake said. Freedom, Rachel said, nodding her head. Freedom, said Marco and Cassie together. Freedom, Tobias said, which I totally get because this is a series about like bodily autonomy and stuff like that. I think just having all of them say it and two of them say it together really read to me as like, we want to get across to these children who have been bombarded with the message that America is great because we have freedom.
Wait, say more about that.
It's very, there's parts that I really like and parts that I don't love about how this conversation is written, in terms of some of it feels just kind of clunky in that same, like, I don't think they had time to do a final draft way. And the freedom part of the conversation feels a little bit clunky to me.
Yes.
But I don't know if that's just because I hate repetition. It's a bunch of them saying just the same word over and over again. But I think as a child who was very much being raised again on like Fox News propaganda, and,
right?
Like, America's great because we have freedom, which is somehow different from everybody else's freedom. This feels like, whether or not it was actually intended as this, it feels like an actually kind of good way to maybe shoehorn in some empathy for people from other cultures, for children who are reading from that standpoint of like, no, other people are just like you in the ways that you are being taught matter. Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm not gonna lie, I just kind of glossed over that. When people say freedom, my brain turns off. It's meaningless at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that you're totally right. I think that's really important, and I think that sort of like global allyship towards ending oppression is really important.
Mm-hmm. And like, I don't want to come off as sounding like I think it's bullshit that like, oh, all people want freedom and all people want all of these. Like, I know that's true. Just in the specific way that American children are lied to.
Yeah, and like the way that we're fed American exceptionalism. And it's bullshit. Yes. Absolutely. So chapter 21.
Yeah.
Final little chapter here. Axe gets Eslin to open up one last transmission, and again, this is so fucking audacious. I would never show my face to Eslin again ever. I would be mortified.
Yeah.
Like, not like I would be scared of him. I would be so embarrassed that I fucked this up for him this bad. Like,
I would expect him to shoot me.
Literally. And he would, honestly, he would have earned that right. If we never see Eslin again, I'm going to be pissed. And I don't think that we are going to see him again.
I even think, like, threatening him with, I'm going to tell Visor 3 what you did or whatever, I don't think that's a safe bet, because I think Eslin is willing to die, because when he sabotaged that shuttle, he was risking his own life too. Hey,
also, I just remembered this. Why didn't... So Eslin, we know, has a Dracon beam. Why?
Give the child the gun.
Give the child the gun. Like, that would have solved literally all the problems would have been solved if they had just given Axe a gun. Now, I know that they can't give Axe a gun in this children's book. I know it's, you know that meme of like really huge book and really small book? It's that, but Axe, if he had been given or Animorphs, if Axe had been given the fucking gun, it would have been fine.
Give Rachel the gun.
Fine. I know they can't give the child the gun. I know this, but like, please.
They could have given us any reason for it of like, maybe, I don't know, the Dracon beams, they're genetically locked to their owner or whatever.
Sure.
Anything.
I'll take it. Like, I know in my heart of hearts that Eslin would have given the child the gun. But it's fine. So they open up communications again. He sends through the message from Alaran to his wife, because we had found out that Alaran had a wife and 2 children. And he was like, I hope that I can come back to you one day. Which, sure. And he has this little confrontation with Lirim. And Lirim is like, you're wrong, and you're stupid, and you're a fuck up. And you're just like your brother. And Axe is like, thanks.
I like that he got another jab in about the fact that Lirim let the Hork-Bajir just fucking, like, not die, but get enslaved en masse.
Yeah, it's, the conversation really goes, Lirim is like, you're such a fuck up. And Axe is like, actually, I think that you're, like, statistically the fuck up. It rules.
I don't love the contradiction. I think it's potentially a realistic contradiction, except they didn't go into it, of the fact that Alaran, in the same moment that he's begging for death, is also like, tell my wife and children I still have hope. And I totally get that you can have that very conflicting set of feelings and beliefs about your future and all of that, but they don't go into it at all. So when Axe tells Lirim that, like, I have a message from Alaran Senator Koras that he still hopes for the day when he might be free, or whatever it was he said, I'm like, does he?
Yeah.
Does he?
If I were Alaran, my message to my wife would have been, I beg this kid to kill me and he wouldn't. So can you please send somebody here to kill me, please?
Can someone please give these children guns? This is my last message.
Can you just send a little shipment down of some fucking guns? They have no weapons, please.
They can turn into owls and shit, but they need some guns.
Straight up.
I don't actually remember if they can turn into owls.
So, we've reached the end of the book. Do you have any theories that you'd like me to make, or any leading questions for me, or anything like that?
I'm gonna say no, because I'm terrified of accidentally spoilering anything.
This has been like everybody's answer. I think I just need to stop asking this question.
Or I guess, like, what are your parameters for how much is too spoilery?
Any. So
Okay.
we'll be safe.
Okay.
So let's do our ranking of the characters.
Okay.
Do you have a ranking ready?
I do. I had some thoughts about Axe that I didn't know if I should share before or after we do the rankings. I don't think it's going to, like, change your rankings or anything.
Go for it. Go for it.
So I think Axe was my favorite character as a child because I am autistic and I have OCD. And for me personally, the way those things kind of interact with each other makes me very aware of the physical sensations that happen during speech, and also
Yes.
creates like, I don't know if echolalia is the correct term when it's stuff that I'm saying and not just stuff that I'm repeating that somebody else said, but that type of thing, I have always had that as both like a stim and also kind of an involuntary compulsion, and sometimes kind of both at the same time. And like as an adult, like over time, I learned to just kind of do that through sub vocalizations, and like I'll move my mouth and my tongue, but no one can hear what I'm doing. But my
Mhm.
internal monologue sounds a lot like Axe, and he's the only character I've ever encountered who just has that as like a consistent character trait of
Yeah.
he's one of the protagonists. We're supposed to take him as seriously as the other protagonists, and he just talks like that. Like this book in
Yeah.
particular, there's a lot of emphasis on him being alien and fish out of water, but like that's not necessarily always the case, or at least there's certainly scenes where he's just talking like that and no one is drawing attention to it.
Yeah.
And like I think that was really helpful for me to encounter as a child who did not have any concept of neurodivergence, but like just kind of seeing a character who talks the way that I think,
Mhm.
and him just being part of the team. I really liked that. And I think that's all that I had that I wanted to go into about X. And then Cassie, um, what I wrote down is I really liked the extremely specific trope of female character who likes animals and also knows some veterinary medicine, which I think for me was like just Cassie and also Emily from the series Avalon Web of Magic.
Oh, I've never read that. Is it good?
It's I don't remember it as vividly as I remember Animorphs. I think it definitely has good parts. I am extremely biased in favor of it because one of my best friends in school, we were like a little fandom of two people for those books.
Aw, I love that. Let's do our rankings. We start at the bottom and
Okay.
we'll go one by one.
Okay.
Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
How do you usually do it? I can't remember now.
I don't know. I don't think I have a consistent way.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. So my bottom ranking here, it's been a really steep fall. It's Axe. I'm so sorry, baby. He was number 1 after 7.5. He is now dead last. I'm so sorry, Axe.
That's fair. That guy begged him to kill him.
He sure did.
My bottom one, which I'm going to say up front, I love all of these children.
Yes, I do love all these babies.
My bottom one right now is Tobias.
Damn!
I love Tobias, and I was trying to figure out why Tobias doesn't push the autism button in my brain the way some characters do. And what I've realized is that I really like the exact opposite of Tobias's ordeal, which is I like animals and things being forced to become people.
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay, legit.
And I think Tobias also in my head suffers a little bit from that idea, the whole The Simpsons isn't funny thing of Tobias was probably the first character I encountered who had ever gone through something like this. I don't know how many characters I have encountered who have like been trapped in the body of an animal, but in my head, because they did such a good job with him, I'm like, yeah, that's just how you do that.
Oh, yeah, that's so fair. My next is Cassie. I love her, and I think that she was amazing in this book, but I still have beef, and she did not quite come through enough, even though that chili scene was like one of the loveliest scenes in the series so far.
My fifth is Rachel, who I love, but I think as a kid, I didn't read a lot of her books for whatever reason, so I don't have as much nostalgia around her. And I was kind of trying to partly base these rankings on like how I felt when I read this book as a kid, because I don't want to get into spoiler territory of like what I like about which character.
Sure. You got it. My next is Jake.
My next is also Jake.
Hey, nice. Solid boy. He's a solid boy.
Right in the middle.
Yeah. My next is Rachel.
Mine is Marco.
Nice. I feel like those two are fairly interchangeable for a lot of people on like where they're ranked, you know? My next is Tobias. He has shot right up almost to the top here. I loved him in this book.
He's so good in this book.
He was so sweet.
My next is Cassie.
Nice. This makes sense.
I really, really love... I share some of your frustrations with anything that delays the plot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I really like that out of all of them, she seems the most kind of haunted by the fact that there's not always a right thing to do in their situations. And that's something that really interests me.
Dude, haunted is the right word. That is so accurate for her. That is so true. Yeah. And that puts my number one at Marco. He's my boy. And last book, Axe was at top, and now he's at bottom. My boy just went right back up to the top, and I bet he is pleased as punch.
Probably he's going to say, everyone says I'm at the top of the list.
Yeah. Everyone's always saying
that I'm their favorite out of the six of us. And at the top of my list is Axe, which I don't know. I don't know if that's actually how I feel about the series overall, but just based on what this book means to me, I really, really love Axe and kind of what that character did for me.
Yeah, and I think when ranking characters like this is, it's for fun, you know? And like, I think that sentimentality and nostalgia are just as valid and important for this ranking as anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Our next segment is a new one.
Okay.
So this one comes from Sweet Husband Zachy, who I will put in a little clip of this voice message that he sent me while on the road that was so fucking funny and so brilliant, where he had this idea for a new segment.
I'm listening to episode 5, and you guys are talking about, Marco and how he's like, oh, I'm afraid for what happened to Tobias. Anyway, I was thinking maybe a fun addition to the Nowvermorphed would be Forever Morphed, which is you have to say which form you would be the happiest to be stuck in. A fun little addition. Love you.
So I bring to you our new segment, Forever Morphed.
Okay.
Which, I guess now we have like an actual real name for this, which is a Nothlet. Nothlet. I think I wrote it wrong at one point in my notes. A Nothlet. So if you were going to become a Nothlet and you had the choice of all the creatures, what would you choose and why? And my rule here, I am not going to give my Forever Morphed until the very end of the series when I have read the 54 main books. I am here collecting data.
Mm-hmm.
I plan on having the ultimate Forever Morph by the end of this series. So, with that in mind, what is your Forever Morphed?
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Yes.
Is this replacing Nowvermorphs, or are we also doing that?
Also doing that.
Okay. Do I get to choose anything else about the circumstances of
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I would want to be a pigeon that lives in captivity.
Whoa, that is really good. Say everything, please.
Okay. We have 2 pigeons. We have 2 rescue pigeons.
What are their names?
Creature and Wiggle.
That's really good. Oh, I love pigeons very genuinely.
Me too. We have 2 pigeons because we used to live in Las Vegas where there are 5 billion pigeons for every one human being.
Correct.
So we've been doing all this research about pigeons, and I'm behind on the research. Kalo, he knows more, but we were both, I think, pretty shocked to learn that they can live like 15 to 20 years in captivity.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and it is worth saying, because this is something that people always think.
Mm-hmm.
People think that pigeons are stupid. Pigeons are not stupid. They are so smart. Doves are stupid. Doves are stupid. Pigeons are so intelligent. Also,
Mhm.
Also, we need to put an end to the bullshit lie that pigeons are ugly. They
They're
are
so
such
cute.
beautiful birds. They are fucking duochrome, like on their necks. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful birds. What are you talking about, ugly?
Like the ones that we have are just like standard rock dove pigeons too. They're not like any of the fancy ones, and they're still so pretty.
They're so pretty. They're cute. They're beautiful. They're funny. They're smart. They can travel so far and know how to come back home. I love pigeons. This is a good pick.
Thank you. We just brought them over here. We had to fly back to Las Vegas to get them once we got the apartment. And on the plane, we were like, can they tell how fast we're going? Can they tell how far and how high and how fast they are getting away from home? Oh no, what do they think is happening?
They're like, oh shit, this one's gonna be a really, really annoying return.
I have been eaten by the large metal bird who can fly higher and faster than me.
Yes.
So
yes.
I would want to be one of our pigeons.
Yes. Very well taken care of. Very in love.
We do not know how old they are. It seems like there might just not be a great way to find out.
Oh, yeah.
And we think the male, whose name is Creature, we think he's older, but like he was an outside pigeon, so probably not older than like 3. And then the female Wiggle, we think that she might have not had any eggs before they mated because she's really bad at sitting on the eggs. She just abandons them constantly.
Oh, honey. Well, in fairness, girl, I would too.
She makes me think of that comic is it Hark a Vagrant?
Yes. What Baby?
What Baby?
Yes, it's the Hark a Vagrant Gatsby comic. I will link it in the notes because it is one of my favorite things ever. Seeing Daisy, because there's like because the comic happens twice within the same page. And in the second instance, Daisy is literally sitting on top of the baby, and it's like upside down under her with like a doofy face, and she just goes, "What baby?
What
it's
baby?"
So good.
Meanwhile, we're like, Wiggle, please sit on the child. And no, I'm gonna go eat peanuts. Which I should say for anyone listening who doesn't know, pigeons just lay eggs every month. We're not breeding them. They're not allowed
birds
to hatch
do
these
that.
eggs. We switch them out with fake eggs.
Yeah, how do y'all think chickens work? Like, it's fine. It's fine.
I just don't want to make anyone think that we're like breeding pigeons in an apartment.
Like, honestly, if you were, I would be concerned for you. Like,
yeah, there's something called pigeon fancier's lung.
What?
There's a condition.
What?
It's either called pigeon fancier's lung or bird fancier's lung. I feel like I've seen both, but if you spend too much time around them, the dust that they generate can fuck up your lungs.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so we were going to get a good HEPA filter anyway, but it's extra important.
Yeah, and that's how Nikola Tesla died.
Oh, no.
That is not how... I have no clue how Nikola Tesla died. I'm certain it's not that.
I always forget about his pigeon wife.
Yeah. Well, on that note, this was an extremely good Forever Morphed. I am taking this data. I am doing the data science to it.
Can I tell you why I didn't pick a bird of prey?
Yes.
I don't think I could handle the constant killing. I think Tobias is stronger than me.
You would not have fucking killed that Andalite.
I wouldn't have killed that rat that Tobias ate because I love rats too much, and I would just starve and I would die and it'd be bad.
Yeah, I'm with you. I also don't think that I could handle this. Though as most birds, I think that I would want to kill a worm, and I am very emotionally attached to worms, so I don't think that would work out. But you're really putting peanuts, you say. Peanuts is an option that I do like.
She loves them.
That's very good. So we are now at our final segment, which is, of course, Nowvermorph. If you just had to morph into something right now, it is not a forever situation. It is a temporary situation. What would your morph be?
Rat.
Yeah.
I love them a lot. I want to see how they experience the world and also investigate my apartment to make sure there's nowhere rats can get in.
Oh, that's really brilliant. That's really like baby-proofing your house, but rat style from the rat POV. That's genius. I love rats. Also very smart creatures. Again, this is really another pigeon dove situation. Everything that you think about rats is actually true about mice.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Rats
I love rats.
We used to have 6 female rats, and then 1 passed, and then we got 2 more, so we had 7. And we don't have any right now. We're not going to have rats again until we're a little more financially stable. But they set up. They have a little society that they make, and they're architects. They arrange their space, and they have opinions. And I really love them.
I love them, and they're so cute, and they're good to hold, and they're nice, and I like them. My Nevermorph today, I'm going to get pretty specific with this one. It is raining so beautifully right now. We're like right on the cusp of fall. The leaves have like just started to change. It's stunning. All throughout recording, I don't think it'll come through, but it was raining so hard. There was like beautiful thunder. I'm obsessed with it. I just want it to be like this forever. So right now, I would want to be here, and I would want to be a creature that can live here easily and really enjoy the rain. I would be a wood frog.
Ooh.
They are so cute. They're little brown guys, and they're cute, and they're funny, and they're small, and they live here. They live here in central New York, and they live in lots of other places, and they're very adorable. And I would just be doing my little frog song thing, sitting in the rain, taking it in. It sounds heavenily right now.
Excellent.
That is my Nevermorph.
Also, I'm Googling them right now, and they're so cute.
They're precious. I looked at several because I have trypophobia, and I was like, which frog could I be that wouldn't make me have a panic attack?
Yeah, that's fair. That's yeah.
These little guys are so cute. Well, Fresco, this has been lovely. Thank you so much for coming on. I loved having your perspective for this book. And I hope you come back again soon.
Me too. This was really fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Nevermorphed is hosted, edited, and produced by Will Williams. Our theme music is The Chase by Joey Hendricks. Our title is by Eddie Feely, and this podcast would not exist without Mike Schubert's podcast, Potterless and the Newest Olympian. You can find his works at shub.es, that's shub.es. Nevermorphed is a proud member of Hug House Productions. You can find more at hughouse.productions and follow us on Tumblr at Nevermorphed. Get morphin'!
On March 27th, 2024, Elon Musk was deposed in a libel lawsuit filed by Ben Brody. Musk's lawyer, Alex Spiro, tried to retroactively mark the deposition as confidential, but it wasn't.
Of course I can ask him, do you think you committed actual malice? Do you think you were reckless? Of course I can ask those questions.
The deposition is a new Hug House podcast reenactment of the entire deposition, word by word, in full, taken very seriously.
Things that he did wrong.
But that's the point. That's not what you're allowed
Until he really just can't anymore.
Not what you're allowed to do in the deposition. You can't just get him talking.
The deposition drops on the 4th of July, 2024, with 4 weekly episodes. Subscribe on your podcatcher of choice or find us at hughouse.productions today.